I know I've said in the past I wouldn't talk about this sort of thing, but I'm gonna talk about it. Um, so one aspect to rape culture that annoys me is the fact that whenever something happens to someone, um, everyone evaluates everything that person did leading up to the incident, and nitpicking is like, oh well, you shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have done that, you shouldn't have been, basically saying like you shouldn't have been so trusting and loose to some around people and expecting strangers to be decent people. Essentially, like you shouldn't have drank so much. You shouldn't have been wearing what you were wearing. You shouldn't have trusted a total stranger. You shouldn't have gone home with them. Or you shouldn't have let yourself be raped or sexually assaulted, essentially, which is stupid. And then, so, women or people who feel like they're in a position where it's likely that they'll end up in that getting raped or sexually assaulted or whatever, not just women, because, men and non-binary and etc. people can get raped and sexually assaulted too. Anyways, they tend to be more cautious, especially if something's happened to them in the past and they saw the reactions that they got. Or they've seen, even if it didn't happen to them, if they've just seen it happen to someone they know, or even in the media. And then they're cautious around people. They don't want to go home with the guy that they just started dating or just met even, or on a first date, like, hey, how about you come back to my place and I'll make you a few drinks and everything else. And the person's like, no thanks. I'd rather meet in a public place. And then the person who invited them over for drinks is like, oh man, like I'm not some creepy rapist, whatever, blah blah blah. And they don't. And it's just so hypocritical because everyone is telling us from the time that we're teenagers and just finding out that sex is a thing to be cautious as all hell. Sex ed is half teaching you how the body works for girls, like how they separate the boys and the girls, so don't say, oh, that's not what it is if you're a guy and you've never been in a girls only sex ed. So anyways, it's the whole thing about like teaching guys not to rape instead of teaching girls don't get raped. It's because whenever someone is raped, everyone looks to her or the rape victim instead of the rapist. There's all this rape apology and everything else. So girls have to learn to be cautious and always alert and vigilant and to make sure that nothing happens. And then just because they know that if something does happen, it's unlikely that they'll get the proper sympathy. And they have to plan their whole night around not getting raped or sexually assaulted, and it's exhausting and not fun. And because as someone with personal experience with this, it seems like I can't get drunk around people who aren't my family because the times that I have, something's happened. So, and something happened more recently where it had been almost 2 years since I had been drinking with friends, and I was warming up to it and eventually ended up getting drunk, and then this guy was trying to do stuff with me, and I thought he was gay, so that's why I felt comfortable enough. But no, apparently not gay enough to try to do stuff with me. Anyways, so, like, you can't get mad at girls for not preparing well enough, and then, well, not just girls, but you can't get mad at people for not preparing well enough to prevent sexual assault and rape, and then also get mad at them for not being totally trusting with strangers or people they don't know, because it seems like everyone's expecting them to automatically know who's gonna be a creep or a rapist and who isn't, when you can't fucking tell. They can seem like totally cool people that, friends even can seem like totally, like, no, this person's cool, they'd never do that, or whatever else, and then you end up alone with them, or you end up having some drinks with them, and next thing you know, because here's the thing, if you look at, like, serial killers and psychopaths, I mean, they can trick anyone into thinking that they're any kind of person. I mean, acting is a thing that exists. I mean, if you can act like, you're some cool person, or, like, even just in day-to-day life, that you're not freaking out or insecure, or you act confident, and, or you go to work and you want to rip someone's head off because you're working in customer service, but you're able to put on a smile and act like everything's okay, what makes you think that someone can't act like they're a totally cool person who's not going to do anything wrong, when they're really a total, like, creepist, rapist, whatever? So, yeah, we have to be cautious, because if we're not, then something might happen, and if something happens, it's our fault for not being cautious. So, sorry, but my safety is more important than your feelings about, oh, she thought I was a creep, but I'm not a creep, I swear. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna be cautious because past experiences with my own experiences and past experiences with just seeing what happens to other people, I'd rather be safe than sorry. Even if the likelihood that is low, the consequences of something bad, if it happens, are so high, it's not worth the risk. And there's this comic that I just read, which is what prompted this, and I'll post it in the description. Is like, I don't care if you're a cool person. I'm gonna try and protect myself as best I can, because while the possibility is low, the consequences of it is high if it does happen. So we're not, the whole not all men and acting like all men are rapists even if they're not. We're not doing that. We're just scared, okay? We don't think that all men are gonna rape us. We don't know which ones are and which ones aren't. So it's better to be safe than sorry, Like, if you were to go, I don't know, skiing or doing something that requires protective whatever, even though you're really good at it and you've never wiped out before, you'll still tend to wear the protective gear because it's safer. You drive on the street every fucking day and you've never gotten into a car accident so much as a fender bender, yet you still follow all the traffic rules and you still wear a seatbelt and you still make sure that your car still has working airbags and all this other stuff. Because even though it's unlikely that it'll happen, and it hasn't happened yet to you, you're still going to want to be prepared in case it does happen, because the risk is still there, even if it's a low probability. And if the consequences of you getting into a car accident and not having proper safety things enabled is extremely severe, because you could die, type deal. So it's kind of like, it's less about us thinking all men are rapists and more about us being prepared in case a rapist does appear. Similar to, it's not so much that you think you're going to get into a car accident, so you have a seatbelt and airbag. You just, in case you do get into a car accident, you have a seatbelt and airbag. Because no, I don't think all men are rapists. No, not at all. But past experiences show that I should be a little cautious around people. I have lots of guy friends and I don't think that they would ever do that, and I know that they're awesome people. And if I see a random guy on the street, I'm not going to say, oh my god, possible rapist, or whatever else. It's just, I'm going to be careful. I don't drink unless I'm with my family. And I don't party, and social gatherings or interactions are very, low-key, playing games or watching movies or something dumb like that, because the times I have done the classic partying or gone to bars or whatever, something bad's happened. So I'd rather be safe than sorry. I don't think that everyone's gonna hurt me, but in case I do come across someone who will, I'd rather not get into that situation again. So, thanks for watching.